Welcome back to art class, boys and girls. Today's learning goal is I can create a drawing of flowers using line and shape. Line and shape are two elements of design that are really important. So I want you to ask yourself as you're looking at these images in front of you, how is line used and how is shape used? Where can you find line and shape in the real world around you? Just look around wherever you're sitting and you'll see line and shape. How is line and shape used in the pictures you're seeing? And how are we going to use line and shape in the drawing we're about to create? So this is the drawing that we're about to create. You can modify yours, you can make it different. You can use whatever shapes and lines you feel like using. I'm going to start out with some basic circles today for the middles of my flowers and then add lines around them. If you want to choose to make it different, that's up to you. So grab a paper, some crayons, and a marker. Those are the three things you will need today. Doesn't really matter what color marker. I used black. Crayons, you can use all different colors if you want. All right, so grab your first color and make a circle. If you want to have silly shaped flowers and you want to make them triangle shaped or square shaped or something else, I don't mind if you do that, but I'm going to do a circle for the center of my flower. I'm going to put another color around it just to make it a little more fun and more colorful. I'm putting a second layer of color around my first circle. This is orange. So I'm going to do a bunch of these. You can do as many as you want on your paper. Making another orange center. That one I'm just going to leave alone. I'm just going to let it be a circle on its own. I'm going to go back to this one. I feel like I need another color around this one to make it more interesting. So I'm going to add a layer of pink around it. Still keeping in that circle shape or oval shape. Now it looks really bright and colorful. I'm going to add to that later, but right now I'm going to leave it like that. And so your job right now is to add a bunch of circles to your paper. You can create different layers around your circles, different layers of color. But we are going to turn these into flowers in a few minutes. So that's where we will be going with this. I like to use lots of different colors in this part because the next part isn't very colorful. The next part I'm just using a black Sharpie. You can use whatever color marker you want. You can even switch colors if you want. I'm just going to keep it as a black Sharpie. And that's why I'm adding lots of different colors here and now. I'm even going to add some green up here with some purple. At any point, if you need to pause the video to give yourself a chance to catch up on your circles, you can go ahead and pause it if you need to. Or you can just rewind if you need to. Since blue is my favorite color, I'm putting another blue one up there. Okay, I think we're just about ready to start with the marker. So I'm going to grab my Sharpie marker and I'm going to give each flower a stem. So we've used shape, now we're going to really heavily use line to decorate our picture. I'm going to let my stems go all the way to the edge of the page so it looks like the flowers are coming up into the page from the edges. don't want to just stop my line in midair. I want to make sure they go all the way to the edge of the page. Now I'm going to start decorating. So I'm adding some petals to this flower with kind of a curved, swoopy line all the way around my circle. So think about the types of lines you're using now. Maybe you still add in some shapes around your flowers. You can make yours look different than mine. They do not have to match mine. Just adding some lines with a little dot. I call these fancy flowers. I'm not looking at real flowers right now. I'm using my imagination and I'm making it up. It doesn't have to be something that's real. I'm gonna add a bunch of dots. I'm thinking about a dandelion after it dies and all the seeds are left and you blow it into the wind and all the seeds fly away. That's what I'm thinking about when I'm drawing this, but it's different because there's still a flower left with all of the seeds around it, so it's coming from my imagination. All the way up the stem, I'm going to add little leaf shapes. What flower to work on next? All right, over here, I'm going to give just a little black shape down there. A little part of the stem that's supporting the flower. And now I'm going to add my petals. Pause whenever you need to, friends. Inside my petals, I'm going to decorate and fancify them with some curved lines. Over and over. Same shaped line, curve, 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 over and over again. If you can do it once, you can do it a bunch of times. So that's what I'm going to do. Sometimes repetition, repeating the same thing over and over and over and over, can make a really, really exciting design. It's actually one of our elements of design. There's principles and elements of design are really important because they guide how to make a picture. Line, shape, and repetition are all part of that. Okay, now where to go next? It's what I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling some swirls. I happen to love swirls, so I'm going to add some swirls around my flower. The technical name is a spiral line, sometimes called the swirly line. My favorite line right there. Looks like a lollipop. I'm just going to add some little wavy lines with a dot. This is feeling very Dr. Seuss-like to me right now. Like maybe a truffula tree in the Lorax book. I'm just going to make my stem a little bit thicker and give it some big leaves. I'm drawing some lines on my leaves so they look more leaf-like. I'm really trying to fancify things today. My lines and shapes are what's making this picture, so I need to add as many as I can. Adding some more leaves, gonna add my lines. So inside of my petals, I'm going to add a bunch of straight lines to decorate my petals. On the last flower, I made curved lines. Now I'm just going to do a bunch of straight lines all in a row. I like to make each flower a little bit different. Only 2 left. Before I finish those, I'm going to go back to this one and decorate my stem just a little bit more with a looped shape for the leaves. Okay, let's see. Some straight lines on this one. I'm going to make this one a hairy flower. I don't know why. It's just something different and cool. And we're going for fancy and cool today. I'm going to put a little piece of the stem down there. I'm doing a kind of a zigzag triangle-like shape around my flower and just going to put some little upside down V triangle shapes inside of it. And I'm going to do some little hairy looking lines for the leaves. Make it a little different this time. This one really does feel Dr. Seuss-like. I'm going to add a dotted line leading up to a butterfly because every garden needs a butterfly. Maybe you want to draw a bee instead, or some other really cool bug, maybe a dragonfly. But it's fun to add that in. So you have completed your fancy flowers. I hope you made them fancy to your liking, however you wanted your flowers to look. Next time you go outside, see if you can spot any flowers and what they look like, what shapes they have, and what lines they have on them. Head over to Flipgrid, show me your artwork, and tell me a glow and a grow, something that went well and something that you could have done better. And I cannot wait to see your art. See you next time.